Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. This is the Delaware Blogger Podcast, and I'm your host, Antoinette Blake, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger. And every week I come to you with podcasting pointers that will help you to share your mission and your vision just by using your voice. A new episode of the Delaware Blogger Podcast publishes every Saturday at 10 a.m. And if you wish to sponsor a show, please send an email to me at info@ablakeenterprises.com. Welcome to the Delaware Blogger Podcast. Hello, hello, and welcome to episode number 321 of the Delaware Blogger Podcast. And today we're going to continue because last week I gave you 5 benefits of starting a business podcast. And so this is part 2 of the benefits of starting a podcast. Now, you need to listen to part 1, but if you didn't, I covered these 5 points. When you start a business podcast, it builds a personal connection. Also, it's very convenient. It's easy to get started. It's an alternative to video. And guess what? It increases your traffic. So check out episode number 320 to hear more about those benefits. But stick around here because I'm going to be going through the last 5 benefits of starting a podcast show on episode 321.
Are you ready to join the billion-dollar podcasting industry? If so, Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio is ready for you. Whether you're just starting out and have no equipment, or you're a seasoned pro but need help with production, Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio has everything you need. Conveniently located in Middletown, Delaware, Blake's state-of-the-art production facilities make producing your first or 100th podcast a breeze. No matter what kind of project you have in mind, the professionals at Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio can help with your production or give you the tools to produce it on your own. At the heart of Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio is award-winning blogger, vlogger, and CEO Antoinette Blake, and her goal is simple: to help one more entrepreneur be successful. So stop making excuses and start making your podcast, audiobook, e-course, and other online dreams come true. Call Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio now. 302-261-3530. That's 302-261-3530.
Okay, let's get into this. The benefits of starting a business podcast. Now, consistency is key. So you've got to be consistent in your shows. And the reason why consistency is key is because that's going to give you more conversion. People always want to know, what is this going to do for me? You remember Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? So you want your podcast episodes, when people listen, to know what it is that you're doing for them. And if you're consistent in your content, they can count on you, because people listen to podcasts when they have something in common with the speaker and or the brand. And now you're building that intimate relationship. You're building trust. The trust that you're building is making them closer to you. And when listeners find you as a friend, as opposed to a salesperson, they're more likely to buy from you, which improves your conversion rates. That's right. So number 6, reason why to start a business podcast is to increase or improve your conversion rate. But remember, you have to do that with consistency. Number 7, another benefit of starting a business podcast is the engagement. You get higher engagement. There's so much written content out there. People are bombarded with content daily, 24/7. But check out this survey. They said that 63% of people who have listened to a podcast and have heard advertisements on a show are more likely to purchase, right? So in addition to the conversion, there's also the engagement. You can talk about your product and or your service all day, every day, and people will listen. And that consistency, I was talking to someone the other day, it's like everyone knows the McDonald's menu, but that's not stopping McDonald's from having commercials on continuously on various stations. And there's engagement. People are seeing it, they're liking it, and so they're trusting it. So make sure that when you're consistent, right? Consistency is key. That increases and improves your conversion, but it also provides you with higher engagement. People are knowing, liking, and trusting you. And guess what? If you send them to your website like A. Blake Enterprises or your Linktree ID like A. Blake Enterprises, they can find out more about you. So that's another great benefit of starting a business podcast. Another benefit is it builds your brand's authority. It makes you a leader in your industry. It doesn't matter if there's other podcasts out there on the same, topic, but what you're doing is you're building up your own authority. You're giving people more ways to consume your content, right? You become that go-to person. If you're selling a product and or service on a website, and then you're talking about the use of that product and or service on your podcast, you are building more authority. People are going to come to you. They're going to say, hey, she knows about this, or hey, he knows about that. So if you have a podcast about podcasting, for example, like this, the Delaware Blogger podcast, when people read about me on my LinkedIn profile or Facebook, they're more likely to say, hey, she knows what she's talking about. And speaking of knowing what I'm talking about, you got to remember, I'm going to be presenting Broaden Your Brand with a podcast at the PodNode 2023 online podcast conference that's scheduled for February 4th. So get your tickets now. I'm going to leave the link so that you can purchase a ticket, because we're going to be talking about so many great things, and we're going to be connecting podcasters and listeners from all over the world. So make sure that you sign up, register for PodNode 2023 on February 4th. It's virtual, and I will be speaking at 2:00. My topic is Broaden Your Brand with a Podcast. So let's continue with benefits of a business podcast. Additional revenue stream. Now, granted, don't quit your full-time job. Don't fold up your business. Don't put a close sign down. But when you start to podcast, you're going to realize that you love it and that it's fun, right? And it's also a great way to earn a little extra income for your business if you're consistent and successful and you're publishing engaging episodes regularly. See, that consistency is tying everything together. It's becoming so big. This industry, this podcasting industry, is becoming so big that advertisers are looking to connect with podcasters, just like they used to try to connect with bloggers. When I started blogging in 2012, there were mommy bloggers, and the companies were coming to them to promote products and services and paying them, checks and trips. I went to LA, right? I went to LA as part of a promotion for Depend underwear way back when, and I got paid a pretty penny, and I got flown first class to LA and spent time on Rodeo Drive. It was really, really cool. So that consistency, the more consistent you are, the more you're going to grow. And the more you grow, the more well-known your podcast is going to become. And the more well-known your podcast becomes, people are going to look for you, whether for sponsored content or affiliate marketing or speaking engagements like what I'm going to be doing on the 4th, right? So there's no guarantee. But let me give you this disclosure right now. There's no guarantee that's going to happen right away or overnight. But guess what? It's a possibility that down the road, it's going to give you additional revenue. I have my books. I have my coaching sessions. I have my speaking engagements. So again, this is additional income for A. Blake Enterprises. So that is another reason or another great benefit of starting a podcast for your business. And last but not least, brand awareness. other than showing up on a Google search, right? There are lots and lots of podcast directories where people are searching for subjects and industries that interest them. And if you're the one that they're searching for, it's a great way to be found, right? Let them know that you are the expert in your field by talking about it consistently, right? And the great thing about podcasting is that your branding can be slow, but it can crescendo from your logo, your artwork, your voice, where you're going to be. I mean, where your business is, your sales, your customers, your clients, your team. Everyone is beginning to know you, like you, trust you. And they know, like, and trust you. And guess what? They buy from you when they're ready to make that purchase. So you're out there, you're doing the darn thing, you're having fun doing it, you're consistent with when you're doing it, and its benefits will be felt. So thanks again for just tuning in to this episode. Every Saturday at 10 a.m., I'm here giving you podcasting pointers. So this is episode 321. This is part 2 of the benefits of a business podcast. Make sure that you listen to episode 1 as well. And enjoy this day. It's a beautiful day. Or it might be night when you're listening. But either way, remember, the Delaware Blogger Podcast provides you with some podcasting pointers and tips. And if there's something that you want to hear that I haven't addressed, send an email to A. Blake Enterprises. See ya! It's the DE Diva, a.k.a. the Delaware Blogger. And don't forget to get your tickets for the Podno 2023 online podcast conference scheduled for February 4th. I'm going to leave the bit.ly link in the show notes. And if you can't listen, make sure you share it with someone else, because what? Sharing is caring. And I'd like to thank you all for listening to the Delaware Blogger Podcast, which can be heard every Saturday at 10 a.m. And if you like this, leave a review, share it with your family, your friends, your bae, and your boo too. And while you're here, listen to some more episodes of the Delaware Blogger Podcast. And don't forget, every Wednesday at 1, Out and About with Antoinette is an interview-style podcast where I'm interviewing some amazing people from in and around the state of Delaware. So until the next time, be smart, be safe, and be social, because I will see you in cyberspace. See ya! It's the DE Diva, a.k.a. the Delaware Blogger. And if you wish to connect, head over to my Linktree ID, A. Blake Enterprises.